There we go. Ahoy, crypto pirates. Welcome to your Discourse Syndicate FN Hangout. I am the captain, your captain, RG3, bringing you one more Friday night of the FN Hangout. After 6 years of doing this, we are still rocking and rolling and trying to make you happy on a Friday night if you're one of those people that's sitting in and doing nothing but trying to get some crypto content or some Hexican crypto content. It's different here. It's definitely different here. I'm telling you. All right. Let's cut through the bullshit. You know who I am. I'm going to say what a lot of people are thinking, but they aren't saying out loud. This whole single admin key thing that people have been talking about this week, that's equaling disaster narrative. Sounds intelligent until you actually understand how these systems fail in the real world. So let's kind of go point by point. And the argument I've heard out there is not technologically wrong. It is sound. So I'm not rebutting the technical argument that's out there, but we're different. We are. So let's go point by point where, never trust admin keys. Here, that's not a slogan, not a strategy. Every single bridge in crypto requires trust. Period. End of story. Period. The only difference is whether you're trusting one-handed point of control. And that's where I land. And that's where a lot of Hexicans land when it comes to the Richard Hart ecosystem. It's control, or it's spreading that trust across multiple people, multiple devices, in multiple ways to get compromised. That's the problem with giving up control. And guess what history shows? Multi-sigs get wrecked. Validators get socially engineered. Decentralized setups collapse because humans are the weakest link. Humans, many of them, many systems, things in place. So don't sit here pretending that adding more keys magically makes things safer. It doesn't. It usually makes failure easier, and that's what we've seen. It's easier to achieve that way. Failure happens when there's too many working parts, and that's what we've seen on bridging especially. So, the other thing is there's no multi-sig, no time lock. Yeah, that's the point. Less moving parts, less coordinated risk, less surface area to attack. You're calling it dangerous, but what it actually is controlled. And again, and there's an argument for this too, whether you believe in the good king narrative. When you have one good king, things can be better, as long as that king is taking care of his people, as long as that king cares about his kingdom and what he's created, or they've created. So, the argument is that this key or this individual could drain everything instantly, correct? Yes. And that same capability is exactly what allows immediate response if something breaks. So if something breaks, there's one system of failure that can be fixed as fast as possible. So that's why things are the way they are around here. You add a time lock, and now you've crippled your own defense. That's it. Period. End of story. Now, there's a vulnerability that live attackers can move immediately, and the system is forced to sit there and wait. That's not protection. That's hesitation built into the protocol. So you got to sit there and wait for the hacker to do its worst, right? If you don't have access to that to fix it right away, then you're waiting for the devastation to happen, you know? So anyway, I'm just kind of going through some of these things that have been talked about and trying to put a different spin on it, I guess. But that's if you trust the system and the good king in place theory. So anyway, so users, they need time to escape. And escape what exactly? If you think the operator is malicious, then you shouldn't be here in the first place, right? I mean, I've been here from the beginning, from its conception to where we are today. And I have never seen the operator of this ecosystem, no matter who it may be. Nobody knows, really. Of course, we all know and understand that it's probably Richard Hart, but I've never seen anything malicious happen, other than all of crypto get wrecked and the number go down and no green candles. And again, that's not the good king's fault. So no amount of time locks are going to fix a broken trust assumption. You know what I mean? So anyway, if the operator isn't malicious, then your real threat is external attackers. And speed is the only thing that saves you. So you need to be able to get in there and fix that. So you don't gracefully exit a bridge exploit. You either stop it instantly or you lose. You lose the funds. Period in the story. Okay, so then the other argument is about the keys. Like, one key is too risky. No. Poorly secured keys are risky. A single highly secured key under tight control can be significantly harder to compromise. Right? Right? If you've got one person that knows what the hell they're doing and cares and gives a shit and protects it, and that's all I've seen here. I haven't seen any, hack happen or loss of something happen or fake loss of something happen. It's always been taken care of. So, so the 5 or 9 loosely coordinated humans with, varying levels of discipline, more people, more failure points. That's not opinion. That's motherfucking reality, guys. It's reality. You got a bunch of hands in it. There's more room for failure, more room for people to do stupid shit. And here's the part that nobody wants to say. This system isn't pretending to be decentralized. It's choosing control, speed, and simplicity on purpose in the most attacked category in crypto. Where are all the hacks happening, guys? Where are they happening? They're happening on the freaking bridges, right? So that's where you need this control. You need this speed. You need this protection. You need that single point of failure versus spread it across more risks. How could having 5 points of failure be better than having 1? That's why you have, anyway. You can disagree with that philosophy, but acting like it's some kind of oversight or incompetence on somebody's part, no. That's not analysis. That's posturing. Flooding, concern trolling, especially in this climate. I get it, how people are throwing that in there. But we've had concern trolls around here from day one, from the first early days in the Telegram Hex chat rooms until today. We have our little concern trolls running around everywhere. So Richard Hart didn't accidentally design it this way, guys. He chose this model because he understands exactly where these systems break. He's the smartest guy in crypto, in my opinion. He always has been. He's always taught, educated all of us on what is best. And if you go back and look at all of his old streams, this is the stuff that he's always talked about. And if you actually study the history of bridge attacks, you realize the real danger isn't having one key. It's having too many ways to fuck up and fail. That's it. That's where all that shit comes from. So I just wanted to give my little 2 bits on it, and from my experience here, my experience with Richard, my experience with everything that we've gone through, all the work and effort and time that us as Hexicans have put in, why would we not trust the mission and what's going on here? That's how I see it. And like it or not, rebut me or not, this is where I stand. I stand on the side of Richard Hart doing the right thing. Period. End of story. I stood in court for the man. I made a movie with him. I've promoted everything that he's done out here as far as educating us and teaching us things. Have I gone up against him on certain things? From time to time, but that's what everybody does. And the one thing that I like about Richard that I understood from the beginning is, so everybody has their camps. We have the Maxis and we have the ETH bros and we have the XRP gang. And, we have all these people that have stayed in their lane, so to speak, or in their community and done that. What I've never seen and what I've seen Richard do early on is he's changed his worldview on things. When he was wrong, when he thought that he had made a misstatement or a misjudgment of something, for instance, ETH. If you don't know, in the early days, Richard called ETH out. He said ETH is garbage. Now, this was before Hex. This is when he was out there streaming. He was a maxi. He was questioning things, questioning people, questioning ideas that were going on in crypto. And the people that were programming on Ethereum were making mistakes. And they were making bullshit, or they were making rug pulls, or whatever they were doing. So on the surface, Richard commented on that saying, ETH is garbage, and at a certain point, he flipped and said, hey, look, I was wrong. And I had never seen that in crypto. That was one of those things that made me realize who he was and what he was trying to accomplish, because he wasn't one of those guys that was rigid in his way of thinking. When he saw something better, he said, hey, I was wrong. The programmers were fucking up. Not ETH. ETH's good. It's solid. It's secure. It's probably the best platform to build on, in my opinion. And that's what he did. And have we seen any problems with Hex? No problems. No problem. It's still running like it was. The only problem is goddamn red candles and no green ones. Or not enough big green ones. So anyway, hold on and get some text. Turn that off. Let me go into the chat room. So again, this is your show, guys. We'll put the link in the chat room for you to come in, have a discussion, talk about what's going on. Real quick in the news, Bitcoin's trading at pushing towards 78K at 77 to 78. It's still risk on going into May. Ethereum is hovering around 2.2K. Still no big stuff. Of course, the Solanas and Doges are moving, ticking up a little bit. So the spot Bitcoin ETFs are seeing an inflow reversal after recent outflows. So ETFs recorded net inflows again at 4.5 million. So the new spot trading thing is happening and moving and shaking. Institutional narrative, they're changing laws and knocking shit down, and 1 week it's this, 1 week it's that. So it still seems to be the big news of what's going on out there is in 2026 is going to be this whole regulatory, where we're going to land. Watch the money. Watch who's putting the money in. Let's see. Blah, 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 blah. Done with that. Anything going on? Let's see if there's any, this is something I wanted. 2013 spring bull run happened on this day, started pre-halvening cycle behavior in multiple years. Early May often marks the transition into mid-cycle acceleration phases. Ooh, that's historically something to look at. But institutional era shift in the 2020s. So late April, May has been a rotation point for institutional flows. But again, we're in a weird climate. So anyway, that's enough of that stuff. I just wanted to have a little bit of kind of news crap to talk about a little bit, just to show you guys that I'm reading stuff and looking at stuff and not just talking out the side of my neck. Andre369, hey, what's going on? Welcome, Elf Tony, my man. Good to see you too. Living my best life. Happy Friday. Yes, it is Friday. Went to a car show. There's a car show going on out here all weekend, and hit that up. Went over to the cigar lounge. Love this little town out here. Sandy Beach, my lady, welcome. Good to see you. Glad you're here. Hector the Protector, what's up, dude? What's up? What is up? So let's see who else is in here. Hex Wizard, yo. What's up, dude? How you doing? Let's see. Where's current unique staker? So Mel told you, dropping it in the chat for everybody to check out the numbers, see what's going on. Leaving that 78.3. So Bitcoin's up 73 and eat that 2.2. Nice. My info is a little bit on the low side. So welcome everybody. Again, this is your show. We've got the link in the chat. We'd love to have you come on in. Susie Q, good to see you. Appreciate you too. Anybody wants to come in and chit chat about what's going on or what's not going on? That's what we're here for. So anyway, anybody got anything in the chat room we could rip on? Anything that I said earlier that we can rip on? You know, I said I saw the rebuttal to you know, the whole bridge idea. And this was discussed early on. What was going to happen, how it was going to happen, what was going to be the best way to keep everybody safe. Bridge is the most dangerous place for your crypto to be. Period in the story. That and a centralized exchange. Because those fools on a regular basis are shutting people down. And that's no bueno. I did see that one of the laws that they threw across the bow, I think it came from Congress, was the no CBDC rule, but they stuffed it in a bill that has no chance of getting through the Senate. So it's basically DOA. It's dead on arrival. So the whole CBDC thing was like flip-flopping weird and whatnot. What do you think of the ZKX wallet for PulseChain? Well, I mean, is a good thing, maybe. Maybe. You know, I think that with ProveX and the things that we have and the things that Hexicans have built here, we're doing pretty good. But yeah, you can't have enough good stuff, right? And using as many good protocols as possible on this chain is a good thing. I'd like to see a stable coin that crosses all chains and can be just moved in and out of all chains. The technology exists, it's out there, and you know, I'd like to see something like that. But we'll see how the stable coin deal goes here in the future. Somebody come in? No. So anyway, that was my little take on what's going on the bridge. I think that Richard has put those things in place intentionally, and they make sense. They make sense to me as far as all the stuff that I've seen fail. We haven't had failure here, right? And so the failure has been outside of that and due to all those things that those others put in place. So let's see. Did you ever receive an Eagle Transformer? It reminded me of your flying Eagle story. Yes, I did get the Eagle Transformer. Thank you so much. And you always send the funnest gifts. So anyway, it's on the toilet. It's standing there in all its glory, watching you in the bathroom. We've got a bunch of different things in the bathroom, pirate stuff, toys, things like that, sitting all over the place. So that's where the Eagle sits. And yeah, I've got Eagle story, but that's for another time. That's for in-person stuff. So anyway, what else is happening? I can look some stuff up here if I and find some stuff to chat about if you guys aren't going to do it. Let's see. What are you doing? Oh.
Hi. That's a much wider shot than I thought it was. Sorry.
SJ is in the office, the Hive office. This is the Transformer Eagle. If you flip it all out, it turns into a robot. So there it is. There's our Transformer Eagle. You can sit there. So anyway, no, hey, get out of there. Hey, you know what? Get your dude out of here. He's clawing on my walls.
Come on. Let's go.
So, a wild SJ. You got him, Pablo?
Cat Rescue Squad?
Yeah. Get him. He's clawing on the walls. I have these really nice sound walls. And her cat that she brings around here, he tends to like to claw on my friggin' walls. Pandemonium and mayhem in the studio. Thank you. So anyway, maybe I could give a little update on what all these folks behind me here are doing. So just get him out of here, please. Close this. So anyway, what I was saying. Oh, so the Hive. If you haven't noticed or haven't heard, we've started to create hubs around the United States. We're creating 3 of them up in Northern California. We've got somebody coming out to pick up a whole bunch and set up 3 hubs up towards the Northern California area, going through San Francisco and wine country there. So we're going to set up 3 hubs there. So keep an eye on the map. If you go to the R.S. Griffin Foundation and you look at the new map that we have there, you can see your local hub where you can pick up some doodle pads and participate and get out there and pump your own damn bags. Get these in people's hands, follow up, follow through, show them how to onboard, show them the websites that are on there, and teach them about DeFi. Because when all of this finally washes out, when all the grift is gone, when people are sick of seeing the same old thing, which is centralized finance and centralized crypto are the same thing. They're not any different. In fact, the majority of the coins now are starting to be owned by the damn institutions that we were railing against. Look, the way I see it, what's going on, and I've been around the block a few times. I've been around a few times and seen the world change many times. I came into the world watching a grandfather and a father, blue collar workers, military guys, working hard for their families, putting in the hours. Grandfather had a pension and Social Security and all that good stuff. Worked 40 years at a company, did the 40-40-40 thing. And he had that existed then. And then in my father's era, blue collar worker, he didn't have much of a pot to piss in other than Social Security because the pension stuff went away. And we, the X generation that saw that get destroyed by the boomers and, watched them whittle away at our savings, at the value of our money, and transferring it over to, the institutions, the banks, the military industrial complex, the oil companies, the pharmaceutical companies. It just got harder and harder and harder. And where they may have worked, 40-hour work weeks, maybe put in a day of overtime, I worked for 35 years on overtime to feed my family without the option of, some kind of a pension. We had these 401ks, but I'm going to be honest with you. Every time something happened in the world, like the 2008 crisis, which, a lot of you, may not have been, in the real world working and having to, feed a family and make a mortgage and all that kind of stuff. It was tight, man. Businesses went belly up. Houses got foreclosed on. They sold everybody on free money for a while, like use your house like an ATM machine. Thank God I didn't do that. But I watched a lot of my friends and family and people I knew do that and lose their homes and have to start all over again. And some of them are still not able to purchase a home. And, there's an argument for, home ownership being a scam anyway, especially when they kind of allow you to take money out of it like an ATM machine. But one can say that's that's their fault for doing so, But even though I didn't do that, we still ran on hard times. I had just, at that time, I had left my job because I had a successful business, and that successful business got hit fast and hard. I never realized, I had been an entrepreneur on the side for a long time, just kind of like 1 foot in, 1 foot out, working my regular job, putting in, 12, 14, 16-hour days, and then trying to build a business on the side. And then the moment I stepped into that business, the world went belly up. We had the 2008 crisis. That business, I didn't realize how hard and fast a business can tank. I learned a big lesson at that point, and it devastated me. I was able to get back on my feet, save my house, do all that kind of stuff, but it was hard. It was really hard. And, going through that really made me think about being an entrepreneur and how to do that and when to take that risk, when not to. And, when you're looking at the trends of what's going on, how do you get into a business when the economy is getting bad? What businesses do you look at? What, being smart about it and not over leveraging and all that kind of stuff. And, had to live through all that. And we're getting ready to go through some hard times right now. I mean, a lot of us already are. We're seeing it out there. We're seeing, people hitting their lowest points in life, and even here in this community. And I don't like seeing that because I care. I really do care. I really do care about people, and that's why I've spent so much time with everybody here. I have really poured myself into everybody I can and done everything I can to help to teach people how to do this properly, how to stay away from trading, how to stay out of the crypto space when it comes to this leveraging and getting yourself wrecked. And, markets turn on a dime in this thing. And we've always got to realize that. And if you're putting your full faith and credit on it, then you're setting yourself up for disaster. So you got to be careful out there. Everyone's got to be really, really careful out there because, you know, it will change. It will change. It will probably get worse and get better. I hate to say that. But who knows what the crypto future holds. But I do know this, that, and I talk about Satoshi's white paper as often as possible because the sentiment behind it, the thought behind it, and the action that he took was to set something up for the people to get the power back. And I think that's what we're all striving for right now. We want the power back. And I've never seen us more powerless than we are today as far as what our futures are going to look like. And I think everybody's sick of it. You know, you see it everywhere. Everybody is tired. Everybody is beat up. Everybody is tired of looking at the sunset. And I think that DeFi is that thing that can give the power back to the people. I think blockchain is that thing that's going to give the power back to the people. Because look at what AI is doing. You know, when you unpeel the onion of it, you know, on the surface, it's a really cool search engine, right? It's a really cool language modeler. It can really help you in that area and really, you know, supercharge your searches and the things that you're doing out there on the surface. Underneath it, there is a lot of things that it does, that it learns, that it can act on, that can make this world a better place. But first, it's probably going to make it a worse place. We're going to see some weird shit over the next year or two. And I think that we're already overburdened with AI. I have left any regular media. I grew up with the 13 channels on the TV, which you really only had about 5, and watched, you know, cable come in, and, you know, and then now we have streaming, you know, the era of the blockbuster videos, and then, you know, the streaming era, and, you know, watched all this stuff and technology kind of take over, wreck businesses, make things better. It's going to eventually make things better, just like the dot-com boom. You know, there was the dot-com boom was literally, if, you know, I watched it happen. I saw it. I saw the hype and everything that was going on. Of course, because nobody knew what it was, there was no hype. You know, it was like, holy shit, look at this thing. Pets.com is the greatest thing on the planet. And then if you look back in retrospect, all it was a landing page. This thing went to multiple figures, and as far as X's go in the stock market, and it was a damn landing page. You know, it wasn't nothing special about it. And so once that bubble burst, we saw the advent of the internet. We saw .coms take their real position, their real value, what they were worth to companies. I think that's what's going to happen with AI. You know, first we're getting all this hype. We're going to get all this, you know, the big corporations trying to get in and build data centers and do all of this shit. And then when it comes down to it, I think blockchain and DeFi is what's going to legitimize it and make it real. Because I'm already sick of AI YouTube content. When I see something and I know it's AI, I turn it off, because don't use regular media anymore. Like I said, those 13 channels that turned into the 600 is now not worth it to me. Now I'm out there looking for my content, what I want to watch, what I want to view, who I want to listen to. And when I'm going through and the algorithms send me something I may be interested in and it's AI, I'm turning it off. I don't like seeing it. It's not interesting to me. It's not it's not smacking right. You know what I mean? It doesn't hit right. Real content hits. When I know that it's a real human being, it hits. Now, eventually, we're not going to be able to tell the difference. You know, we're not going to be able to see the seven fingers and all this weird stuff that's going on in AI. And we're going to need something that can validate that. And I think that that's where blockchain comes in. And we can use blockchain to validate AI content versus real content and, sparse it out that way. So if that be the case, that's a real good use case for blockchain. AI technology, using computer power from validators, all this, all of these video cards that are out there that need to be utilized. Maybe that's going to be the way of the future, giving the power back to the people. And that's what DeFi and blockchain can do. Now, whether that happens or not, I don't know. I think that eventually, as people try to take their power back and we get a voice and we can try and, change the regulators that we put in place and make it a more, I guess you'd say, a democratic way of doing things. And I don't think that, democracy should exist in all things. I think that there's some things that, need to be handled by less people, like what I talked about earlier. As long as those people put in place can be trusted. And then, of course, that has to be validated. But yeah, it's about getting our power back. And we have to, in order to do that, we have to empower each other. And that means not smacking people in the face if they say something you don't like. Like, for instance, the information that I gave you in the beginning of the show isn't because I'm trying to rebut somebody. Like I said, that person that put that information out there wasn't technologically wrong. I think that in our scenario and what's going on here, that it's inaccurate. And I'm not going to fight anybody over it. I'm just going to give my opinion about it and my experience and where I find strength and hope. So that's where I stand on it. And I try and come from a no nonsense place and try not to spin things and try not to hype things and try and give the reality of what's going on out there to everybody. And again, I'm not infallible. I know that, but I just try and make the world a better place and keep everybody safe as possible. In a world and in a place that is very, very dangerous and very, very wrought with pitfalls. There are nothing but tons of pitfalls in crypto. So when you're out there handing out doodle pads, like I said, go to rsgriffinfoundation.org and get your hub of choice that's close by you and go pick you up some of the doodle pads and use those to help onboard people. Pass those out, have them look at the websites, understand what real DeFi is. And the story has to be told of what it means to you. We have to educate these people with our story and why we're here and why we're looking at this thing. I know a lot of people are looking at crypto as the end all be all, number go up, get rich quick thing. And a lot of people have. But a lot more people have been wrecked by it. And that's where I'm trying to do the greater good, is work within those ranks and try and help people understand what DeFi is. And by using these pads and getting people to the proper information and teaching and educating them and giving them the literacy that they need to navigate this stuff, I think that's the best that we can do, and mass adoption comes from us all networking and telling our stories and educating people. Because if they know the history, if they know where crypto is gone and they know where crypto is going, then, or they understand that it could go in this direction, then maybe they can make better decisions for themselves. And that's where I'm going to exist and continue to exist, and not try and teach people how to trade or how to leverage and all that kind of crap. Want to keep people safe and want to make the world a better place. And I think that DeFi blockchain can help in doing so. Doodle pads go great with chocolate, not on a hot day. No, and we have many hot days out here. If you are in the area, if you're in the California, Temecula area, please come on by and donate some of your time to Licking and Sticking. We're getting boxes ready. We've got plenty of them here to get them out to our hubs, to get them out to people who are going to be utilizing them to onboard. And again, let me stress that I'm not saying that throwing these things on people's lawns isn't going to work, but we haven't seen super success with that. I think that they need to be handed out by somebody who understands, knows a little bit about what's going on, and uses them to put something in somebody's hand, because they're not going to get rid of it. It's going to sit there. They're going to use it. Those websites will always be there in front of them, so that when they do make that call, or they ask you about it, or you talk to them about it and ask them if they've gone to those websites, you can kind of keep on them and drip on them, not jump out of the bushes and say, oh man, I'm going to make you rich. You got to get into this. We've tried that. We've all tried that. I think that what's going to work is us going out and using these things to teach literacy, to get something in front of people that they're going to keep a hold of, that it's going to constantly remind them of what DeFi is, who gave it to them, and what their next step is. And their next step is for you to help them onboard, if that be their decision. And you need to be there to answer the questions that they're going to have about what DeFi is. So the information's there. If you just look at the doodle pads themselves with hex.com, PulseChain.com, PulseX.com, and you go to these websites, all the information's there, what they are, ProveX, what's coming out, all these things that are there that are in place for us to use. If you educate them on that and yourself, you'll have the answers to the questions, and they can figure out on their own whether or not they want to be part of it. And there is no safer place, in my opinion, to be than in true DeFi platforms. And that's what we have here. And I haven't seen anything else better. I haven't seen anything else that's doing it like Richard has done it. And price be damned, but here we are. Something is going to work. Something is going to freaking work. So anyway, Susie Q says, I put chocolate hearts on them, but maybe sour heads would work. Okay. All right. So we're if we're not going to have anybody come in, how come I don't have a timer up here showing me what the time of the show? Oh, there it is. So we've been going for 47 minutes and no guests. The producer is in the green room. Do you want to jump in and put in your 2 cents there? Positivity princess? Maybe not. Maybe yes, maybe no. Oh, there she is.
No.
No camera. No.
Just kidding. Can you not see me? Hello.
No,
Hi there.
It's just your avatar. There.
Be right
All
back.
right.
Technical difficulties.
All right. Did we, I'm going to post this. Hold on a second. Let's see. Copy and paste.
Can you hear me now?
Yep. We could see you too. Are you in Richard's dungeon?
We posted the link.
Oh, well, I'm posting it again just in case. This is like the old days when nobody would show up.
There's something wrong with my audio. I'm like way.
No, it sounds fine. On my end, it sounds fine. So any updates you want to give on the hubs or what's going on?
I'm super delayed.
No? Not that I hear.
Yeah. Give me 1 second.
Yep. All right. There's Johnny Chaos. He says, nice choker, SJ. We are all feeling a little goth today. Maybe Johnny will come in. He was always the one that would come in and save me when I was in here alone, drowning.
Okay, I got it figured out. Sorry.
If you see the thumbnail today, it's King Poseidon doing his thing.
I made that.
So anyway, did you want to give an update on the hub situation? Throw a call to action or anything out there? I know we're also working on international hubs. So that is one of our things that we're doing is working on, getting licked and sticked doodle pads out to different hubs, Canada, the UK, maybe Spain and Portugal. There's a couple other places that we're looking at to get them to. So we've got some Telegram rooms. I think one of them is in the X chat room. There's a Canadian X chat room where people are going in and talking about it, because there's a lot to look at. It's not like, hey, just send us some doodle pads. There's some logistics that go with getting a bunch of these things. It's you're welcome, Mel. Tony, thank you for being so kind. There's a lot of logistics that goes into receiving a sea container full of these things. A lot of logistics for unloading, storing, and getting these things out to smaller hubs or to people in your area. There's a lot of logistics to it. So if you want to get in some of these chat rooms, we have a couple Telegram rooms. I think SJ has them in the description below. And we'll chat with you about, what it takes and what your capabilities and your ability to commit to it is, because it's a big commitment. It's a big commitment to handle a bunch of these. You don't have to, build the stickers, buy the printers, put all that stuff together and stick them and rebox them and all that kind of stuff. We're handling that here. But anybody else who wants to be able to distribute these things after we've already, gotten there's a lot to do with customs too. So there will be another whole nother round of that stuff going on when we deal with the custom stuff. But because we're a nonprofit, we are looking for other nonprofits or charities. Some other countries call them charities in order to for us to get free doodle pads to you at those kind of rates. Then we have to work through that too. So there's some fiduciary logistics that have to be taken care of, and then there's also some logistical stuff that needs to be taken care of and committed to before we find another hub. So if you want to get in those conversations, if it's something that you think that you can handle or be a part of and want to be a part of, then
can you not hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Oh, okay. So I keep trying to talk and you just keep talking.
So go ahead.
Okay, thank you. So the hubs are happening, and we are thankfully getting more and more across the states and across the world. The two that we have now that you don't see, I think the only two that we have up there, or the only two that are not up there as of right now, are Utah just happened and Phoenix just happened. And Phoenix is a subset of Tucson, basically, because the pellets are getting sent to Tucson. And then someone in the Phoenix area was like, hey, I'm going to go to Tucson, pick up a bunch of boxes, and then I'll be in Phoenix, and anyone in or around Phoenix can come get them from me. So that's another idea. If you are in a state and there's already a hub near you, consider going out to that hub, picking up 5-6 boxes and taking them to your area, right? Like if you are closer to another major city, if you are closer to another area that's highly populated, or an area that's about to have an event that might be, I don't know, financially related or crypto related, consider becoming, a secondary hub. You don't have to receive an entire pallet, right? Because the person near you is doing that, right? So if someone near you or within your state or within at least, driving distance, in your opinion, has a hub and you're willing to go out there and get tablets, that's another consideration. So you can see the US hubs here. You can click on any of them and you will see the zip code of where that hub is and the contact information for the person who is the hub leader, as I like to call them. And shout out to everyone on this map, like all of the people who are on here that have put in the time, effort, and energy to become a hub. Oh, there's another one going to Florida as well. So we will have 2 hubs in Florida. So shout out Florida. I think it's going to be at the Panhandle. So nice. Yeah, more hubs in Florida. So far, they're the only other state to have more than 1 hub. Texas, well, that's not true. So now Texas has 3. Arizona has 2 hubs and Florida will have 2. California, like RG was saying, California is about to have a few more hubs going up the coast. So that's going to be really awesome. And then you can see down here, we are growing in the UK and in Europe. We've got actually 2 hubs in Portugal. We had someone in Portimao and then someone else in Portimao. So they're both in Portimao, so the south of Portugal. But hey, it's a beautiful place to visit if you have not. Go down that way. And then we have one in the south of Spain. I have another one going out to Spain, so I need to put that on the map. So there will be another one in Spain soon. And then we just sent pallets or boxes. Sorry, it's different for the EU, right? So shout out to Farron, who is a Hexican who owns a Romanian deli. If you're in Cali, go to his deli. It's called, I think, International Deli and Meats in Garden Grove. Go say hi, tell him you're a Hexican. He will love it. And he offers this shipping solution to his customers and brought it up to us and was like, hey, if you guys are trying to get these out to the EU, we have a shipping solution. And, it won't be a whole pallet, but it's way cheaper than us sending, like, if we were to just send a box of 100 of them, it's nearly the same price as what we do with him is we can send several boxes. It ends up being about 500 tablets. So it's 2 to 3 boxes, about 500 tablets, and those get shipped over. Now it is overseas, so it is a slow shipping process, 6 to 8 weeks. We're keeping our eyes out on how well it goes and who's getting them first and what happens there. So we'll kind of keep everybody updated on how that shipping process goes. But if you're in the EU and you want some tablets for summer, if it's like something that's 6 to 8 weeks out, and you're like, hey, it'd be really awesome to have these tablets in Sweden for this event, or in Germany for this event, or whatever the place is, like if you're part of the EU, and that just happens to be who the deli is like working with, right? Like that's like the parameters of the shipping. So unfortunately, it's not as easy to get us, to get tablets out to places like Australia, like Canada, the UK, right? These are places where, like RG was saying, we're trying to consider sending part of a shipping container out there and figure out how that's going to work and, like what that looks like. So really would love to see more on the map here for EU.
Yeah. And that's going to need to be people that are near port towns. So if you are, just because of if you're real far away from a port town, you probably don't want to receive a container. We need logistically to find people that are close to port towns so that we can get them there cheap as possible. Because if we've got to drive that container 3 hours from the port, then the costs start going up exponentially. So
and I just want to add one more thing real quick.
Let me bring Johnny up, because Johnny's jumping in the chat here with us. Ladies and gentlemen, the Mr. Chaos. What's happening, bud?
How's it going? Let her do her thing.
Yeah,
Don't
real
get me
quick,
wrong.
just finish before we all go off the rails here. So the last thing I want to say is if you do sign up on this form, this isn't the final boss. Like don't just send me this information and think you're getting a pallet, because there's an additional bit of information that I need in order to get these where they're going. So like I've had several people just fill out the form and I've never heard from them again. So if that's you, check your spam box, check your DMs on X, check to see if I tagged you in an X post or if the RS Griffin Foundation tagged you in a post or DM'd you, because I'm sitting on like 6 different either pallets or box requests right now where someone reached out, said they wanted one, and then hasn't followed up. And, in some cases, yeah, sure, you realize it's too big of an effort. There's, you don't actually have the storage for it. You were just trying to see what we were doing. But either way, like if you are serious about it and you have the ability and the room to do so, be sure to either email us again or direct message me. I'm at AWildSJ on every social media platform that exists so far. And then, or email or DM the RS Griffin Foundation. It's RS Griffin. Yeah. RS Griffin FDN on X. And you can find all that information on our website. So rsgfoundation.org. It's the easiest way to put that on. I put that in the chat right now. Okay, thank you.
Well, thanks for jumping in and updating us, SJ. We appreciate it. Johnny, what's happening, my man?
Just like the old days. Help me, Johnny. Help me. Somebody stream with me, Johnny. You gotta come on stream, Johnny. No one's streaming. No one's showing up, Johnny. It's back in the old. We got like 20 people in here. It's gone like the old days, man.
We've gone full circle. We're back to the old days.
and the only FUD we got is year 1 arguments from people in the community that should know better.
Yep. Year 1 arguments, right?
Year 1 recycled FUD arguments. Richard owns too much. Really? We didn't go through that like year 1 where we had to fight with every influencer out there. And then we had to, Hexo had to come up with the, how decentralized is your coin chart, and pull that up.
Maybe people have forgotten, Johnny. Maybe that's what it is. Or, they're just recycling the old FUD and trying to bring it back to make themselves feel better. I don't know. But it's all those really old weird. Arguments have been debunked. And they were debunked by a 10,000X.
Yeah.
They were debunked by a 10,000X, and there was no rug pull. Remember the rug pull arguments? Mm-hmm. Oh, Richard's going to steal all of your coins. He's going to steal all your money. He's going to rug pull you. Never happened. And to be sitting on that kind of a pot and to not make that move like everyone else in crypto has done, every single one of them. And some of them told you to their face that they were going to do it. Told you to your face and did it to you. I mean,
here's that chart that Hexo made. I mean, the how decentralized is your coin thing.
Is that it right there?
I shared that. I mean,
sorry.
You got to kind of stretch it out. I don't know how to stretch it out to make it more clear so people can see it. Kind of blow it up a little bit.
I don't know if we can do that. I think that's a you thing.
Okay. I don't know how I can amplify it. Is that on my end? Is there?
Yeah, because you shared it. Oh, what?
We're just all over the place.
What are you doing? Where did Johnny go?
I'm here.
She's mortified now. Hold on a second. Let me see if I can unfuck this. Oh geez, let me see. Bang, there we go.
Anyway, we had a how decentralized is your coin thing, So we did that, right? So what was the other argument? Richard owns 90%. Okay, so like all coins are balanced that way. Like 10% in circulation and 1% in liquidity. That's like any successful ERC20 token like ever, is like that. So it's like why are we talking about that again? We know that. We came to terms with that for like forever ago. You know, the
Well,
OA can stake their coins. People are like, oh, well, the OA staked. Well, they stake their coins at Big Payday. You know it's possible. You know it's something that can be done. You know, what other argument we got? We got oh, the bridge. Yeah, well, Richard said, you know, I want a bridge that has no keys. Come to find out that there was no
Can't.
such thing.
Can't do it.
Can't do it. So do you want me to launch this thing, or you want me to just kick it around for another couple years until we figure out how to do a bridge without keys? I think everybody pretty much wanted PulseChain to hurry up and launch. They bitched about it for 2 years. When's this going to launch? When's it going to launch? I got to hurry up and dump my coins. So you know, I mean, that's what they did. You know, so
Yep.
like literally, we knew that. That's not anything new. Of course, the bridge has an admin key. Yes, and so does PulseX. Why would PulseX have an admin key? Well, duh. You have to have a master chef program. It's a fork of pancake swap. Somebody has to set up the farms. So yeah, that has admin keys too. So there are just certain things that you can't get around that with, right?
Yeah.
And there's a difference between decentralized ownership and decentralized network. And
Exactly.
and there's a difference in a bridge and a network.
You know what? Let's get into that a little bit, because that's one of the things that I don't think people talk about. They want this decentralized purity, and that's great with the tech, but when it comes to the ownership, that's not necessarily always the best thing to have decentralized ownership. The best companies in the world have centralized ownership.
Well, take
And-
Binance, for instance. Probably the best performing crypto out there, right? It's held a price. It's in hundreds of dollars right now. They owned 99.45% of all the coins, and only 0.5% was in circulation. And the minute I identified that and put a video out that, look, the top 100 wallets own 99.45%, poof, all of a sudden it gets split up into daughter addresses. And you know what? You don't know who owns the addresses anyway. You know, top 100 wallets. Oh, this is for this. This is for that. Here, let's make you a pretty little pie chart. You don't know any of that's legit.
No.
You know, it's probably the same damn dude, you know, and the whole centralized ownership thing is actually great for price. Look at the coin I built, right? Everyone's like, oh, well, you got it all sitting in a cell wall in V3. Yeah. Mine is 90-10, which means 90% is available to the public, but you have to buy it. There's just no freebies, right?
Yep.
So, you know, that works
So
just
it makes
fine.
a real price.
Just fine, right?
Yeah. So that it makes a real price, which
Yeah.
is what you want. So
when you have a problem is when you have a whole bunch of free coins distributed and you've got
Yes.
to buy those coins back off the market, because otherwise that's too many loose coins out there, because you're trying to balance a ledger. You can't have unaccounted for coins. You know,
no,
everybody
and that's
thinks
where
it's
the
a great
big
idea
problems
to
come
just-
in.
Yeah, everybody thinks it's just a great idea to just give out this and give out that. Well,
Oh,
if you do, then you've got unaccounted for coins, and those people can sell. They didn't pay anything for them, so they don't value it. You know, that's the problem. When
Yeah,
you
what
buy
was the-
something for really, really cheap, you want to assign the same value you would for something that you paid for. You know?
yeah, and we've always existed in a good king space from day one. You know, it's never those hands that are involved have never done anything wrong to this ecosystem. And people may argue about the staking and whatnot, but that's not forever. You know, it's not forever. Hold on, we got another guest jumping in.
I said, look at those hands holding up that ship in the thumbnail. I'm proud of that one, not gonna lie.
What's happening, DMT? How you
What's
doing?
happening? I'm glad to see you guys still carrying the flag, man.
We are still hoisting
I'm trying.
the flag and our voice.
I'm still here staked for 15 years, man. We're here for the long run.
Right on. So what do you have to add to this?
Well, I add on what Johnny was saying, man. I'm all about this decentralized program here. That's why I'm into Hex. And tell you the truth, I mean, look at all the other coins out there. They're not doing well either. So
No.
everybody's suffering. And when Hex takes off, it fucking takes off. We've seen it before, and we're gonna see it again. I mean, I believe it anyways. I mean, when like say the next bull run happens and Ethereum takes off and it hits 10,000. What do you fucking think Hex is gonna do? Think Hex is gonna sit here at 0 point fucking
No.
5? I don't think so.
No, they're all, the markets are correlated to a point.
Yeah, we need to have a bull market before we can declare something dead, right? If we got $10,000 Ethereum and we still haven't moved, okay, guys, it might be time to start worrying. But when you got Cardano down, you've got XRP's down, Doge is down, Litecoin's down, Ethereum's been cucked for the past 10 years. I mean, no gains after 10 years, really. I mean, and that's the number 2 coin. People forget this. It's like, I don't care about the Solana hype bullshit. Ethereum is still the number 2 coin. It's the second one on the list, down from Bitcoin, So what happens? People go to the exchanges. Well, what's the number 2 coin? I can't afford a Bitcoin. What can I afford a whole one of? Well, maybe I can afford one of those Ethereum. That's $2,000. That's not $85,000. I can afford $2,000. So I'm going to buy one of those. I'm going to have a whole unit because that's how normies think. They're going to buy the next one down. If you look at the, internet search engines, right? Everybody goes to the first click, right? 90% of everybody clicks on that first thing. But guess what? The rest of that goes down to the next one, right? And then what percentage gets the number 3 spot? Hardly anything goes to the number 3 spot. So, so what? If Solana's number 3, what's that mean? I just don't see a world where the number 2 coin doesn't pump. Bitcoin only pumps. If we don't have another bull market, then crypto's over. We've got big worries because then that just means crypto has failed us altogether. So
it's coming, Johnny. It's coming.
Oh, I believe it. I'm still here. I'm sitting around. Actually, I believe it sooner than we think. I believe all this bearishness that we have right now with all the influencers and stuff, they're sidelined, dude. They are so sidelined. They are so screwed because they're not in control anymore. They don't have any coins. They can't affect the price. They've already sold out their positions. They're like, oh, please, I need a 40K. No. You bitches are going to be buying back in over at $85,000 because now you done got out of your position. Now you're going to get scared. Now you're going to FOMO back in at higher prices. Now you're going to have a much smaller bag because you done, sold everything you got. Now you're out. Yeah. You're not getting back in.
Oops.
I mean, like some people got into this Hex game to get rich quick,
right?
And they did, get rich quick.
Yep.
But some of us other people got into it for the long run, for the 15-year, the long run, even longer. And
I certainly think we all got in to make money. Just we weren't too sure about the time frame, right?
Right, exactly. I mean, I could have cashed out. I could have cashed out at one time, but I mean, you never know what the freaking market is doing. It goes crazy and it goes up and it goes down. But like,
yeah,
the whole reason I got into Hex is to stake this. I got into it for the long term, because I mean, I'm making my money doing what I do for work, and it's just, I put this away for something in the future, and I don't expect it right now. A lot of guys got it now. A lot of guys in crypto, they're trading, they want it now. Boom, boom, this is hot, that's hot. And just like Richard said, most of the guys get wrecked. Most people don't get fucking rich overnight in crypto. This is our way of making it eventually. And I believe it's still going to do it. I don't care what anybody fucking says. I believe in the PulseChain ecosystem. I believe in what Richard was doing. I love the decentralized finance. And I don't give a fuck that we're down right now because I know it's coming back.
So the one thing that nobody's talking about is, it's easy to have hope and faith and be bullish on, something that you believe in and are part of. But what's going on right now is what we need to look at, and how we all need to react as a whole crypto community, because this is different right now. We are in a different place than we've ever been. Before, we could almost, get in, trade, and be part of this and make money on the bull markets and the bear markets and trading on the news and all that kind of stuff. But the news that we used to trade on has happened, and there's been no more bullish news than what's happened over the last year and a half. And we're seeing the worst bear market, the worst dry spell that crypto has ever seen. And we got to look at why, and we got to look at how we've got to position ourselves as people, human beings, and community in this ecosystem, because what they've done is they've sold out to the very institutions that we were up against, the very institutions that we were building this to take us away from. We've handed to them with white velvet gloves and said, here, take our crypto and pump our bags. And guess what? They took the crypto, but they didn't pump our bags. They do what they always do. They steal from us. They take from us. They wanted in. They said, oh, there's a little bit of tranche of money over here. Let's go in and grab it from them. And that's what they did. And that's the world that we live in now. So just hoping and being bullish on what we've got our hands on isn't enough. We need more people out there talking about this and explaining to other people, because the narrative out there on one side is, yeah, open it all up and we're stealing, because that's what they're doing. They've opened it up and they're stealing. And then the other side over there is saying, we told you this thing was bullshit. We told you this thing was fake. We told you this thing was no good. They're laughing at it. I'm seeing, people that are in the news and the political spaces and all this laughing at crypto again and saying, oh, look, it's just a grift. It is what we said it was, blah, blah, blah. And then on the other side, we see the institutions grifting. We see them buying bunches of it and distributing it out without it moving our price. There is more value moving now than ever before, and we're not part of it. We're not. They OTC traded, the big wallets OTC traded, gave it to people who are shimmying it around and doing their own, basically creating their own ecosystems and not creating any value for the space. Like when we had the way the cycle would go, the Bitcoiners would get their pump, they'd get their halvening pump, they'd look at their bags, they'd, get into the altcoin market with part of their bag, and retail would chase them. They would be chasing the whales, like the fish that run around with the whales trying to eat the smaller fish and everything else. So we used to have that. We are not having that right now. And they've created a whole new environment that we have to figure out how to exist in. And that's the narrative that needs to get out there. It's not enough just to hope anymore. It's not enough just to say I'm in it for the tech. It's not enough to say I'm in it for the long run. It's how are we going to change the narrative? How are we going to take the power back? How are we going to utilize this tool to do so? And how are we going to educate people on what the real deal is? Because, well, again, if we don't, we're getting eaten alive out here.
Can I ask Johnny a question?
Yeah.
Like, did we have a bull market? Did we hit that bull market when Ethereum hit 4,600? Was that it? Or they were saying or no, it's not just yet. It might hit the first quarter of the next year or the next quarter. But was that it? Did it hit? No. Was Ethereum at 4,700 and now we're waiting another 4 years or whatever? What do you think, Johnny?
So remember, we had a nuclear war assault on crypto, right? Gensler and Warren and their cronies literally carpet bombed all of crypto. They sued everybody. They summoned influencers. They were demanding everybody's personal communications, your personal bank records, all of that shit, right? You know, and that's like a first, right? Where do they get off demanding, you know, personalities talking about things that they like? You know, imagine if you're on a sports team and they're like, oh, you like the Phillies? Well, guess what? You know, we're going to need all your personal records and bank records for what? You know, so but it was a cryptocurrency, right? There's money involved, so they're supposed to be able to demand all your person. So that's pretty scary, right? When you got the feds knocking on your door and saying,
yeah, let's not forget though, Johnny, that the influencers and the people running these grifts out there caused a lot of that. They were out there pumping, dumping, putting, you know, Kim Kardashian's face out there to pump their coin and rug pull everybody. So
yeah,
they created a lot of that too.
They let Alex Mashinsky and
Yes.
SBF run free until it collapsed.
Yeah.
They were perfectly aware that shit was going on. They let that go.
And then he ended up in an orange jumpsuit.
They let the scams slip on by, and then they paraded them around like they were crypto's finest, right? And then they showed the world that this is what crypto is. So when people think crypto, they think SBF and Celsius. And then you got Luna and BlockFi and Voyager and all that shit goes with it, right? So this is what they paraded around to the general public. So we are suffering a nuclear fallout. We are radioactive to mainstream. They're like, crypto? I ain't touching that. I literally talked to a guy at a casino, one of the security guards. He's like, what's your hat say? I'm like, yeah, it's cryptocurrency. It's Pulse. And he's like, oh, you mean like that SBF guy? Literally, that is what the normies were thinking. So no. Bitcoin pumped and Ethereum pumped before it should have, because institutional money came in and did that. Nothing else had a bull market. We have not had our bull market yet. I don't want to listen to this 4-year cycle bullshit. We did not have a bull market. Nothing else pumped.
Nope.
Just the Ethereum and Bitcoin. Why? Because it's the only thing the institutions even know about. That's why. And it was
ETH barely pumped. What was that? A pump for
we did jump. We certainly didn't pump, but we jumped up to.
We had a little move there.
Like
there
what was it in August or something, or last year? We did have a move, but no, it wasn't a pump.
It was kind of a causation.
There was no bull market. Okay.
Yeah, there was no bull market. No.
A bull market, you'll know because random bullshit will just start going off like popcorn. And you'll be like, what the hell is this coin? I never heard of it before. You know, that's when you know you're in a bull market. Okay. So no, we haven't had the bull market yet. That's where I'm at, and that's where I stand on that. And I think we could still have it this year. In fact, I think by the end of the month, I'm saying it, by the end of the month, we have $85,000 Bitcoin and $3,000 Ethereum by the end of this month. So boom, there you go. That could start it off. We get one solid green month. The next 3 months could be solid green. And then boom, next thing you know, we're into a bull market. And then everybody can be happy again. They can stop bitching and throwing their hat and stomping on it and throwing a fit and cursing at Richard, you know, because here's the thing, right? All of these complaints, 3X, it's vaporized.
Yep.
It's
they'll be singing his praises.
Yeah. And what's funny about that is, you know, people out there like, well, no, Johnny, a 3X ain't going to make good for me. Why? Because if you would have doubled down at the bottom, all you need is a 2X to break even. But if you didn't buy, if you haven't been building your position, then yeah, you might need 100X. Why? Because you bought 100X higher, and that's the only time you ever bought. People are like, well, why are you telling us the DCA? We don't want a DCA. Well, you don't want to reduce your entry rate? Okay, so you want to wait longer to be in profit.
Yeah. That's such
that makes sense.
If you you
go
must.
Ahead. Go ahead.
It's been so cool to see you know, like I know that the staker wallet doesn't really exist anymore, but like the fact that like I got to move up into a new class,
Animal creature.
like yeah, I'm a new animal creature, and I did that. It's been a while actually. Like I got to do that as the prices were down, you know, like not as low. I don't think as low as they are now, because this is the lowest they've been pretty much.
This
really
is year one prices, SJ.
Yeah.
You are now an OG. You are now buying year one prices. You are building your position. Year one, you get a second chance. You don't often get a complete return in crypto like this.
Yeah, no, it's crazy.
You know,
Like I
we
saw
are-
my
we are
best
so
friend get
oversold.
in, and when she got in, the price was so low that she was at the class that I had been when I got in, and the prices were much higher. So to know that, you know, I was able to like, you know, scoop some up and actually like get into the higher class and, you know, like do that for myself. Like I'm just like, I'm like, wow, I never thought that I'd be able to do that. I never thought I'd have the opportunity. And it's, you know, I don't have much right now to play around with, but like, man, if I could, I would. Like, it doesn't make sense if you have
But
the
you don't
opportunity
need
to
a
do so
lot,
right
you
now.
know,
You
and
should.
we weren't throwing hundreds of thousands of dollars
Right.
when Hex first came out.
Nope.
You know,
If
and
you,
that's
if
the
you
thing,
threw
right?
$1,000 back in when Hex first came out, the returns were mind blowing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm ready for
And-
this.
And it's
school
just
run.
like it's like that right now. It's like
Mythical
that right
creature.
now. Is
It's
it
right-
not, Johnny? It's
it's
like
the
that
same.
right now.
And
Yeah.
it's
everything's
actually
better.
now the T-share rate though, that's 4x higher.
Mhm.
There you
So
go.
even
Yep.
if the
Still
price
moving.
went all the way
T-share
back
just
down
go up.
to
The rate
back
just
down
goes
to
up.
all-time low, you're still 4x higher on a T-share.
Yeah.
So, you know, there's nothing. And Hex, E-Hex, still 10x off the bottom.
And I'll take that
That's
swap.
still 10x. That's the first 10x.
I'm still getting more T-shirts than I ever would have been able to.
Remember those old memes like T-shares, motherfucker.
And everything is better now. You know, it's better than when we first started. When we first got in, you know, we
did
had
nothing.
all the FUD. We had everybody. I remember the conversations that I would have with people about Alex Mashinsky, about, you know, SBF. And it was like, oh, well, SBF is so much smarter than Richard Hart, and he doesn't even compare. And Alex Mashinsky is on a whole nother plane than Richard Hart, you know. And I used to
Oh yeah, their
beg to
plane
differ,
is
you
jail
guys.
cell. That's where their plane is.
And come to find, SBF's just some autistic kid, didn't know what he was doing, and everybody thought that he was some kind of genius, and he was really just grifting behind the scenes with handlers, and he was the fall guy, and it was a bunch of bullshit. I mean, they had like a whole freaking hour, 60 minutes episode on this kid in his Toyota, like he was some kind of genius, you know, and it was bullshit.
Did he ever say
There you go.
anything smart? I never saw him say
No.
anything smart. I was
No,
like,
and
well, how
everybody
is this
thought he
guy
was
a
some kind of
genius?
savant because of that. No, he was a fucking idiot. He was really, truly the idiot that we thought he was. I'm like, this guy isn't. What are you talking about? And sure as shit, he shows through true colors. And he's in an orange jumpsuit, and Mashinsky got put in one too. And you know, they even came at Richard. I remember when Richard streamed with Alex, and Alex tried to, you know,
Find me one victim. Find me one victim. Now everybody's a victim now.
yeah, you know, and so
Yeah.
it's better.
You know, I've been in this a while, Captain, and with Hex, and I haven't been scammed. I haven't lost all of my money. Yeah, the market goes up and it goes down, but I haven't been rug pulled by the founder. You know what I mean? I still got the amount of Hex that I have.
You
Whether-
didn't show up
whatever
one
the
day
price
and
is
the website
doing.
shut down and you couldn't get in. And
Yeah.
that's what these things do.
Exactly. He taught me how to do it decentralized, how to get this shit off of the scammers, how to do this. Now, I don't know what Hex is going to do in the future. I really don't. I imagine it's going to go up, but regardless of that, I haven't been rug pulled. I haven't been scammed.
If
I
crypto
still
survives,
got my
it's
Hex.
going
I
to
got
be.
it decentralized. They can't touch it.
If crypto survives, and it becomes what we've always thought it would be. It's going to be the best crypto in the marketplace, period, end of story. I love what Susie says here, because I said this a few weeks back, a couple months back or whatever. And she said, what else does retail chase besides whales? Think outside the box. How can we create another cyberpunk? Now, we guys, this ecosystem, Hexicans are the new cypherpunks. We are the ones that have gone back in time, not changed our ways, not changed what those original cypherpunks were doing. We are here because we want DeFi. We are here because we are looking for decentralized technology. We are here because we want a better ecosystem, and we have that with the ownership and the founder of the founder and what he's done with it and what we have technologically. And that makes us the cypherpunks. We are the only true fuck you in the face, from behind, whatever else. We are the ones that are doing what Satoshi's vision and the original cypherpunks wanted to be done. Nobody else does it like us.
And
nobody else.
It was Bitcoin was not meant for large corporations to own all the mining equipment and get all the damn coins. And that's what we have. Bitcoin was not designed for the banks to own the majority of the ownership and to make paper versions of Bitcoin called ETFs and then trade paper versions of it and basically print it to infinity. Nor was Bitcoin supposed to be on centralized exchanges where it is fractionally reserved and you think you're buying Bitcoin, but you don't know if they have it. And if you don't like it, that's too bad, because they can freeze your money. That wasn't on Satoshi's to-do list.
Now they're lobbying to remove any protections like that. So
Yeah.
on top of them getting their hands on it, they want to be able to fuck with it even more.
Oh, yeah.
Captain, for more than the fucking gains, for more than the money, tell you the truth, I am here exactly for that fucking reason, for the principle of it all, for the fucking principle of it all. I'm with Richard Hart and this decentralized finance for the goddamn principle of it all, more than the gains.
Hex has the dynamic deferred inflationary model that's inclusive. It allows everybody that has Hex to mine it.
Yep.
That is the power there. Power to the people. Everybody has the ability.
And if we fucking make it, everybody's gonna fucking make it.
And there's been no improvements on this model, on the Hex model. There hasn't been a better Hex made. Nobody has gone out and tried and said, well, hey, I think Richard did this wrong and Hex is wrong here and we can make it better.
Tried.
Well,
but it's the perfect
I think they tried to grift off the name of, hey, let's build something better. Because
and
that's why they were all so pissed.
Corrupt nature, though.
Well, they were all so pissed because Richard did it. He built the thing that knocked Bitcoin off of its throne. And, you know, the market doesn't show that. I will admit the market doesn't show that, but the tech does. Hex is a better Bitcoin, period, end of story. It's a better model.
Yes, sir. Yes,
it's
sir.
an improvement on technology, which is how we're supposed to react as a society. When a better toaster comes out, when a better, mousetrap comes out, we use it, we advance, we get rid of the old tech. The VCR is no longer around. Only if you have a box of grandma's wedding freaking videos in there is the only reason that there's a VCR, cassette around. So
I have a question.
Okay.
I have a very important question. A very important question because my mother is watching. Hi, mommy. My mom,
boy.
my sweet, sweet mom. She loves that crypto coffee. She follows him on Instagram.
Oh, he's awesome.
And apparently, since she follows this crypto coffee kid and he's got that crypto stuff he's talking about, the algorithm decided to feed her some other crypto stuff. And she just asked me the other day.
Oh boy.
If she could buy some XRP. Ladies and gentlemen,
Mom.
My mother
Mom!
not buy XRP.
Why should your mother not
they
buy our
have
XRP? It is basically a centralized bank coin that they sell on your head to pay their bills.
There you go,
And
Mom.
the banks get a discount and you pay full price. And they are always going to get a cheaper price than you, and they're always going to dump on your head. That's why.
And what does that mean to dump on your head?
Which means they're going to sell it. So imagine, right? You know, someone's getting a cheaper price than you, right? So if you were to try to resell it, you can't get that price because they're selling it for less. And that's the situation with XRP is it's constantly being sold for less than what you have to pay for it.
And they tell you they're doing it.
And they tell you they're doing it. And it's their model.
It's their model. It's always been their model. And why people are so engaged with that, I don't know. I don't understand. And it's the hype. It's the advertising.
It's the idea that it's the anti-crypto. It really is an anti-crypto. It is as centralized as it gets. It is basically owned by banks only, really. They get the deals. It's full of insiders and VCs. And you as a consumer are going to get ripped off.
Crypto Coffee has to do a program on decentralized finance, so we're all clear.
Well, it's all of his content is. I mean, that's what the man does on a regular basis. He's out there.
How did she miss it? How did your mom miss that?
We got to it's just she probably saw that.
Hex
it's
is
like
not the only.
thinking.
Hex is not the only decentralized finance, but it's the best.
And it's not mom's fault because mom is, you got to realize we have a different language here.
SJ, is it your fault? Whose fault is it? It's somebody's fault.
This is my mom's reaction.
Age, and I don't understand the language.
I know that. I know Crypto Coffee wasn't slinging that XRP.
No. It was just someone else in her algorithm. Like because she follows Coffee on Instagram, the algo on Instagram fed her some XRP shiller.
Oh my Lord. That's like those people that call you up in random, call the boomers, and they're like, there's a problem with your computer. We need to get your password and, all that.
That's the perfect advertisement. Don't be Brad's exit liquidity.
Guys.
Have you guys ever fallen for a scam before, though? Anybody, honestly?
Luckily, no. I worked for Blizzard Entertainment and learned a lot about them really early on in my life. So
I love Warcraft.
I did like account recovery and stuff like that. So I knew what all the scams were and what to look for. And I learned a lot during that time of my life. So
I had hard times.
Unless you want to count like Advocare. I fell for like selling Advocare and like one other MLM once, and that kind of felt.
No, I mean like gotten scammed yourself.
No.
Never? You know those scams where they had Richard Hart, and then underneath it, it'd be like, send us these many coins and we'll give me your address and we'll send you it back. Do you know what I'm talking about?
They knew
you know exactly what I'm talking about.
They do that with all the founders. They do those QR codes with all the founders. That's a typical scam that runs out there. I don't know anybody who's ever scanned those, but I mean, again, the problem with our community is we assume that everybody knows what we know. And we're like, what are you, stupid? Because you don't understand this, or you fell for that, or you did this or did that, because, it's just common knowledge, right? But to outsiders, we speak a different language.
Absolutely.
It's about esoteric, It's like, if you're not here, you don't understand. If saying DeFi, first of all, you know what people think DeFi is? Celsius, Luna, BlockFi, they think that's DeFi. SPF, he ran a DeFi exchange. Didn't you know that? That's what they think. But that's not what it was. In fact, you know what we should use? We should use the term native markets, because there's a guy doing advertisements right now talking about native markets. He's spending all that good advertising money and he's getting through the YouTube algorithms. And we should use the term native markets, because what PulseChain is it's a native market. It's isolated from the main exchanges. It's a native market. It's its own little ecosystem, and that is where you're going to find the deals. You're not going to find the deals on Coinbase, Crypto.com, or Kraken or Binance. By the time they list the coin, you're already missed the first 10 to 100x. So, by the time they're listing it, it's time to start selling it.
What's that term? Native what?
Native markets.
Native markets.
Yeah, you'll see a guy pop up on your screen talking about, I have a trading course, and this is what my quant told me about native markets. He's spending all that money doing these freaking scam advertisements to sell a course. But the fact is, if people hear that in those ads that are being forced down their throat right now, and then they come across the video where someone is referring to us having native markets,
adopting
that is actually better than DeFi, because DeFi has been one of those words that's been bastardized by the industry.
Exactly.
Has it?
So people have like a
because there isn't real DeFi.
It has?
Yeah.
Damn.
Oh yeah. As far as mainstream's concerned, it has.
Native market.
Let me jump in real quick here with what Susie says. I want to run something. So retail still doesn't want to be under the bank control. How do we get out of the chokehold wrestling? And let's do that. So here's the thing. And I had a conversation with a client this morning about that. And it's so the whole world, the people, the regular average Joes out there are in an extremely emotional state right now. There is something going on out there where people want real. They want the power back. And we need to tap into that, because once we connect this to this, then that's when the magic's going to happen. That's when people are going to realize. So we as Hexicans have a head full of knowledge, have a head full of understanding in this space. And that needs to get out there. And we need to figure out how to speak to the regular people like Mom there that's watching the stream, and how to explain this to her without using all of our acronyms and our stupid words like HODL and all this bullshit. They need to understand what's really going on out there. We change the language and the narrative. And these are the people with the money. These are the people that are going to move it. The X generation, what's left of the boomer generation, as far as them being even wanting to invest in this space, those are the people that are going to start moving it. And once we figure out how to connect this with people, and they understand what this means and how it takes the power back, and how it's not just some get rich quick scheme. It's not something for money launderers to go out. It's not something that they've been bastardizing it as, and that it's a real, that they put that narrative out there on mainstream so that they can fight it, because they know it's going to cripple them. And the reason that they got in is because they either want to choke it out and drown it in a bathtub, or they want to
control it.
Be a part of it. And I don't think that they think they want to be a part of it, to be honest. I don't think that they're in this to be a part of it because it's the next greatest thing. Yeah, they're going to use blockchain to tokenize everything and all that stuff, and they're going to use that technology, but they don't want DeFi. They don't want it. They don't want us to have our hands on
it. Captain, they can't control it.
That's why they're taking control over the things that they can, because you can control Bitcoin. You can own most of the hash rate. Okay, you can influence the people that are updating the BIPs. Okay, there are things you can do in Bitcoin to influence it. You can influence the Ethereum Foundation. So there are, they're looking at points of control here. If they control the top two, well, where do people go then? We are kind of the last bastion of what you would call DeFi now, because the institutions are going to control the top two. It's going to happen. And what you're going to see now, I put this prediction out here. Centralized exchanges are the ones in a rough spot right now. They're the ones getting squeezed out. You've got the Clarity Act, all the Congress they got going on right now. What they're trying to do is they're trying to squeeze out the middleman. There's no use for them. And what banks are going to do is they might make it illegal for them to advertise on YouTube. So you won't see any Kraken commercials anymore. You won't see Coinbase commercials anymore. What you'll see is JP Morgan Chase. We're a real bank. You should trust us to custody your assets. Centralized exchanges get hacked all the time.
Yeah.
And that's what you're going to see. JP Morgan, Chase, freaking Goldman Sachs, they're all going to start offering their own custodial services, which once again will let them fractionally reserve crypto.
Yep.
And this is going to be a problem. If it's on a centralized exchange, it can be fractionally reserved. If it's in a bank, it can be fractionally reserved. And banks have laws that allow them to fractionally reserve things.
Yep.
So you are more likely to be fractionally reserved by using your custody with a bank than you are actually with the centralized exchanges who they're watching much closer, right? But centralized exchanges are caught in the middle of the banks and DeFi.
Yep.
They're getting squeezed right now in the middle there. Now this is
that's what I'm saying. On the other side of it, they've got DeFi and they don't need to exist.
No, they don't.
The banks don't want them to exist, and we don't need them to exist.
That's why they hate us.
Yes.
We don't fall into their little program.
But if they don't start loving us, they've got no support.
If we get the number.
If they do not start listening to the customers that are in crypto, they will not be able to justify their existence. Their only hope is support from communities, coins with communities that will back them with any support. That is their only hope. They might be very desperate to list coins that have communities because now they're up against the banks. The banks own the lobbyists. The banks own all the real money in the world. They make them look this small. They've got the best lawyers. They've got the best lobbyists. They've got the politicians in their pockets. If the banks want it, they're going to get it.
Yep. And even with all the money that the crypto lobbies have been, feeding into this thing,
ain't got enough.
They're not making it. They're not doing what they want. Every time they try and get favorable legislation, it's getting knocked down, and the banks are winning. The banks are winning every time. Even when they tried to push that little legislation in there so that they can do this and they can do that. And you see Brian Armstrong up there, yelling and screaming and trying to make things go his way. He's not getting it.
No.
It's not.
This is what we're up against, Johnny.
Support them. Eventually, they got to figure out that they need coins with communities. That is like their last bastion of hope. And I'm not saying they're going to get us because they haven't been so kind to us.
Oh, no.
But the fact is, they're going to need to, what is the word for it?
Well, and the reason is too, Johnny, that they have played us just like the banks have played us.
Yes.
They've done the exact same thing. Richard Hart didn't pay to play.
Nope.
And they didn't like that. They wanted him to give up coins. They wanted him to pay to play, and he didn't.
Yep.
And every time they tried, and even when this community thought it was going to be a bright idea to go out and do it on our own, we failed miserably. They fucked us. The very, very one single time that we tried to pull that off, we got fucked.
Yep.
And it just proves that, they are not in it for us. They have not been in it for us. And I don't see that changing.
No,
like you said, unless
I can see it changing as an act for desperation, because Coinbase is listing all kinds of random bullshit. I mean, they are listing all kinds of random bullshit. It's like my phone pops off, 5 times a day. We just listed this coin. I'm like, yep. If you got any of that, you better sell it. But the point being that,
not us.
These guys aren't dumb, right? They need their customer base. Their customer base is what they need to save them. They don't want people to leave them to go to these bank custodial services. But here's what that will do for crypto in general, though, is because that will offer an easy, more trustable on-ramp for people to come into crypto. But again, we're talking about the fractionally reserved and stuff, but that's going to make it easily accessible for most people. Now, centralized exchanges kind of get cut out of this because who cares? They don't have most of the coins that you want. If you go into DeFi, you can buy anything you want, Why are you forced to only buy what's on their list? Right? This is the same way Amazon put out shopping malls. Because if you go to a shopping mall, you can only buy what's there. But if you go on Amazon, you can buy anything all over the world, right? So it's the same kind of thing with DeFi, is that you can buy anything. As long as there's liquidity out there, you can buy it. If you use an aggregator, it will search across all the stores that are out there, which are the DEXs, and it will bring it right to your door, right? But people don't even know what chain they're on right now. That's part of the problem, is there's still that cross-chain interoperability thing that's got to be worked out. But I believe we're in the right place. I believe this works out. I believe if the banks end up owning Bitcoin and Ethereum, they got to go somewhere. People got to go somewhere. And I'm sorry, PulseChain is still top 5 token as far as blockchains.
Still the shining city on the hill.
It's still there. It's not there by accident. It's there because there are users. There are people using it. There are people building on it.
It's for the people, Johnny. And the man is always gonna try to disgrace us because they are scared of what we have. They don't want us to have what we have. They want us to be doing what they want us to do. This is decentralized finance.
Everybody
This
got
is
all
so
upset
far beyond them.
the SEC was coming after us. It's like, what? You didn't expect any resistance?
Right?
Come on! You don't expect any resistance?
Oh, they hate us. They all hate us. That's why they won't list us. That's why they're always saying, "Oh, that shit is bullshit. It's crap." That's why they're always doing it, because they're scared to death, because they can't control us.
Nope.
Yeah, and I don't think that they're necessarily even scared. I think that the SEC thing was an internal crypto hit on us because of how poorly the SEC came at us. I think that it was poorly argued that
well, Richard pissed off somebody. You know that.
Well, he pissed everybody off.
The
wrong guy got pissed off, and here we go.
Let's get real here. He did. He pissed off everybody, but you can tell just by the way that they came at him, as far as how it was wrote, the complaint was wrote, that it was a game of telephone. Somebody in crypto gave some information to the SEC, and the SEC wrote a complaint, and it was horrible. It was in crayon, and somebody worse than even a Marine wrote it. And it was bad. It was really, really bad. And you could tell that it was an internal hit from crypto. And that's who got pissed off, because I don't really think that the banks are afraid of us. I think that they honestly think that they can crush this little crypto thing anytime they want. And but I do think that tokenization and blockchain technology is what they're after. And I think that they want to make the laws favorable to benefit them. Of course they do. That's what lobbyists are for. And that's why we need to get rid of Citizens Friggin' United and get money out of politics and all that bullshit. But that's neither here nor there. But I think that they want to use the technology to make, the decision layers of all of their systems quicker, faster, more efficient, and immutable. And
that's why
once they do that, they can turn this thing into a huge grift. They can trade all day long.
Anything DeFi, they would instantly shut down. They don't want anything to do with that, because that's not with their agenda. Their agenda is what their agenda is. It's not in my best interest, or yours, or Johnny's, or SJ's. It's in their own best interest, and DeFi is not in their best interest. So right, we're not big enough to make them afraid of us, but we're big enough for them to look over here and shut that shit down right now if they can.
Here's the deal.
Before it gets started, you know what I mean?
Good luck outlawing math, because we're literally talking about pieces of paper with digits on it. That's what we're talking about here. A spreadsheet with digits on it. Is that illegal? They were doing that. Well, we're going to charge on unrealized capital gains well, if this girl gives me her phone number and she writes it down, do I owe you on those capital gains?
You owe me
Because
for that.
until I
You owe me
unless
for
I
that,
sell
Johnny.
that number to somebody else, I've not made any money. It's a number on a screen, right?
Yeah.
If I play a video game and I run the score up, do I own unrealized gains on my video game score? Because it's just a number on a screen. Because until you turn it into money, it's not. This is the frustrating part, with this. If I paint a picture, how much is that worth? Until I sell it, it's not worth anything. Well, what if I sit here and I draw a stack of papers, right? And am I going to get unrealized capital gain because I could possibly sell those? Are you going to come in and look at all? Do I got to give you a list of all my comic books and all my cards? Do I got to tell you everything that I own? Do I have to tell you every picture that I draw? Do I have to tell you every game I played and what my score is? I mean, how ridiculous is this? What they're asking for? Right?
It is ridiculous because after all the time we've sat here and suffered with our losses right now, when we make gains, all of a sudden they're entitled.
Have their hangout.
They're entitled to that when we cash out.
Well, that's always the way it is.
They'll have their hangout. And yeah, when you cash out, it becomes.
It's almost like this. It's almost like this. So say I buy a used car, right? And somebody already fucking paid taxes on that car when he bought it brand new. But I buy it used and I still have to pay fucking taxes on it. Is that right? It's not right.
It's not right, but it is the law.
It is the law. It is the
And we
way.
need to change that shit.
There's a difference between when you turn it into money and what crypto actually is. Because crypto is a number on a screen. It has no value until you cash in. You can't even say what value it is at any given time, because unless you actually sell it, you don't know that number to be true.
Well,
It's just a pony picture.
Between you and me, Johnny, that's why I have a good friend of mine that's already a convicted felon that doesn't give a fuck, and I just put it in his bank account and he sends it to me.
All right, don't dox yourself on that.
Nobody's watching us anyways. We got what, 20 people in here? Come on.
We had 20 people in here.
I think there's a term for that. There's actually a term for that, Johnny.
Plausible deniability.
So they are just pony pictures, and the art world has been doing this forever. The art world and the museum world has been doing this forever. And
our world and art museums have been money laundering for years with real
fucking A.
Yeah, they've been doing that forever, and donating the picture to a foundation or a museum that they own, and whatever, and
then they do a write-off.
Yeah, and it's and this is not the same when you're talking about trying to create better money, better systems. I mean, think about it. The ecosystem here alone knocks out so many different systems for settlement layers. The settlement layers and the banking system gets completely eliminated with DeFi. It doesn't need to exist. It works better. It settles faster, and it's immutable. And
but I mean,
it's on the
until
blockchain.
it's cash, it's like, I say, RG, I like that painting behind you. Let me trade you a couple Pokemon cards for it. I mean, when you're trading these cryptocurrencies, they have as much value as what you can trade them for, and until you actually do that, it's like people are so hung up on the chart. I get it. The prices are down. But when you understand liquidity, if you had 1 million tokens anyway, and you tried to sell them at this price, what are you going to get? Not what you think you're going to get. And if you try to buy at these prices and you try to buy 100 million tokens, how many do you think you're going to actually get?
Yeah.
You're not going to get.
Go ahead and try, somebody, if you're out there. I'd love to see you do it.
Yeah. Well, you can technically, and this is technically right. You should technically be able to buy 100 million hex on Ethereum for $60,000. Technically, you should be able to try it,
but
it ain't going to happen. If you want to do 100 million, you're going to have to get people pissed off and selling, and you need to set a limit order, and you're going to have to catch the net because you'll lose half. You put $60,000 in there, you're only going to get about 50 million. And then if you try to buy more than that, you're getting maybe 52 million or 54 million. And how you test this is you go onto PulseX, okay? Go, I want to buy 100 million hex. How many dollars? And you put the dollars in, and you start you can add zeros, and you'll notice that it's not getting you any more hex.
It's going to start
You
ding,
put
ding, 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 ding.
in $1 billion, you're still not getting 100 million hex right now.
Yeah. Hey, let me comment on something off subject real quick. I miss cigar night. I do too. Coming back soon. Coming back soon. Got my rare pink for today's show. So quick story on a rare pink. So rare pink is a Arturo Fuente Opus X. Is it an Opus X? Yeah, it's I think they have the Opus X version of it. But it is, man, I smoke cigars. I like my cigars. I smoke the big doggies.
Rare pink.
And it's funny. So the rare pink was made for breast cancer awareness. That's why they made the rare pink. And it's a smaller cigar. It's called a short story. And the short story rare pink, I was sitting in my backyard. I smoked the doggone thing, and I had to go lay down. The rare pink got me. I was like, oh shit, man, this thing nailed me. Now, I don't know what it was or why, but every once in a while, one will get you. So careful with that rare pink.
I smoke Newport for breast cancer awareness.
What's
I
that?
was proud of you for getting off that nicotine kick. I wish I could get off the nicotine kick.
I know. I'm
very
terrible.
person.
I can't quit. My kids are all over my ass.
Yeah. Well, it is what it is.
It is.
But I love my cigars. My peacetime.
Yeah.
Well, I know you're not getting off your nicotine. I was picking on SJ because she got off of nicotine and she's returned back to it.
Well,
Yeah,
I mean,
no,
cigars is such a different thing. It's so different.
Yeah, okay.
Cigars are a little different.
Inhaling. You're not inhaling.
What's interesting about I've been on a lot of different types of nicotine, you name it. But quit smoking many, many, many years ago, 30 plus years ago. And but I did hit that damn vape, and that was different. That was hard. Crack freaking nicotine there. And a cigar doesn't act the same way. The nicotine in a cigar does not affect the same way. Like when you're on other nicotine products, you want that nicotine. A cigar, you could kind of like take it or leave it, depending upon whether you got enough time, whether you got the space to go sit down and do it, whether
I feel like I had like a little run of time where like I really was craving them, but I don't feel that way at all anymore. Like I haven't had one.
I never felt that nicotine Jones with a cigar. And
then before that, it was like a couple weeks kind of thing.
I'm just jealous of people that can put it down.
Yeah. It's tough. It is.
You know what the problem is with the vape is that you can sit there. You can wake up in the middle of the night and it's right by your night bed right there. And you can still smoke it. But like usually I go outside to smoke cigarettes like right now. But with the vape, you can just sit there and smoke it all day inside.
Yeah.
And it's just like a never ending thing.
Yeah, that's why I had to stop because I felt the addiction. I was just
it's a pacifier. It's like you can't leave without it. It's that dependency thing. You lose it, you put it down, you're like ready to tear the house down.
Where is it, or where can I go get another one?
Yeah, and that's the way I was with cigarettes. They like had control over me back in those days. It was
right there, Captain. Right now,
needing a place to smoke my cigarette. I would eat just because of how good a cigarette felt after I ate. It was like, okay, I'm just gonna eat this because I want.
It's like you remember that movie with Patrick Swayze where he died and shit. Where he's like that guy on the subway. Oh, a cigarette. Ugh. You remember the part I'm talking about?
All right, everybody. Well, we've been rocking this thing for 2 hours. We appreciate you all for coming. Thanks to all of my guests that jumped on. You guys rock. Johnny, thanks for coming in and saving a show. DMT, good seeing you, buddy.
I love you all.
Right. SJ, as always, thank you so much for everything that you do. Everybody go to rsgriffinfoundation.org and participate. Be part of this great movement that we have in building this ecosystem. Get some doodle pads, find out where your hub is, and get involved. Go out there and do a little something for the chain versus complaining or shit posting. All right, everybody, thanks for coming. We'll catch you on the next one.
Love you, Captain.